garden friends. This video is going to be a little bit of everything. It's going to be some maintenance, some watering, some feeding, a little nurturing. That's kind of what this video is going to be all about. So main points, I will cover the veg beds. It's a tour that's long overdue. And if you guys can stick with me, I'll run through some maintenance. All right. All right, guys. So over here, I'm gonna go ahead and set up my fertilization solution, I guess you could say. So I got the infamous 511, which really is Alaska fish fertilizer. It's a fish emulsifier, and it's great for all indoor and outdoor plants, right? It won't burn your plants. And the 511 stands for 5% nitrogen, 1% phosphate, and 1% potash. So it's not so much preferable for rooting crops and blooming and so forth, but it's an excellent nitrogen source. So I use that in addition to Happy Frog Fruit and Flower, which has a ratio of 4:9:3, 4% nitrogen, 9% phosphate, and 3% potash. So it compensates for the lack of the last two ingredients. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill this partially. First rinse it out, get out all the leaves and debris. Well, most of it. Might as well do both while I'm here. You know what? I'm not even going to waste this water. Let's go ahead and water this brown turkey fig and this panicle hydrangea, which I still haven't gotten around to planting my trio. Okay, so all in due time. Anyhow, so I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up, and as I'm filling it, I'm gonna go ahead and pour my fertilizer into it. So this will be a very highly concentrated solution. So I'm going to feed the plants with this, and then behind that I'm going to go ahead and water them in. And honestly, guys, I'm just kind of eyeballing this solution. I guess from experience, you'll know how much to add and how to be discretionary with it. All right, so we got our solution together. So first thing we're gonna do, as I tour the veggie garden, I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize and water. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and drop down my Happy Frog. Okay, drop down my Happy Frog granular fertilizer. Follow it up with the 511 and then the watering. All right, guys, so immediately I come over here and I inspect my seedlings, and I can tell that something's been chomping on them. The broccoli's been chomped on. The Melton sugar peas have been chomped on, as of the collards and kohlrabi. So most likely they're a nighttime insect. They're a nocturnal insect. So I think as a preventative, I'll go ahead and dust them with some diatomaceous earth and then observe it. Sometimes, hey, if you're serious about your crops, you'll come out here in the nighttime to see exactly what's eating your crops. I mean, if you're heavily invested into it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fertilize, because they definitely need the fertilization after being chomped on so that they can push out fresh growth. So I'll start with the liquid fertilizer, and all I need is a little bit because it's heavily concentrated. See, my sugar baby finally started germinating. It was a slow one. Let's make sure that's a weed. I don't want to be fertilizing no weeds. So for the sugar babies, I got 4 that sprouted. 1, 2, and those 2 over there. They about decimated this lacinato kale right here. Look at that. I don't think those purple kale came up, so that's a wash. Let's give this eggplant a little drink. And mind you, again, this is a very high concentrated fertilizing solution I have of the 511. So I'm just putting a little dribble. Everybody gets just a little dribble, because I'm about to come back with the granular powder that has more potash and phosphate. Some pepper right here, a little purple bell pepper over here. Get a little drink. This yellow pepper right there. So looking at the sun sugar cherry tomato. So I've been snacking on it lately. So there's only one right there that's so delicious. It surpassed the height of this little trellis I put here. Here's that little hot pepper back there. I'm so proud of. Germinated inside the house during the late winter and early spring months, and it's stuck around. And to be honest with you, I had germinated about 30 pepper seeds, and this is the only one that survived. So I'm kind of protective of it. That's why I kind of have it towards the back. All right, so let's give this tomato plant a little drink. This one over here. All right, starting to look really raggedy. Really raggedy. I just harvested this big baby right here. This is a beefsteak. Set it down right here. Actually, I turn my tomatoes upside down. This other one right here is clearly ready. Put that right there. I think there's a few more in here. Oh, look at that. Something beat me to it. Yep. Probably tomato worms, I'm pretty sure. Look at that. Another thing is when you water infrequently, or if you get heavy rains, your tomatoes can split. So this big monster right here is a hyacinth vine. It's a purple hyacinth vine, and it's really accelerated within the last, I want to say, 3 weeks. At one point, I didn't think it was even going to grow. So, produces a very nice, thick canopy, good shade underneath, and I'm going to have to cut some of it back because it's really here just for ornamental value. And, you know, I mean, come on. We're here to produce food, so we got to kind of scale back on the ornamental and leave more room for food production. So this little black beauty right here, it's really doing well. There's another black beauty over there with baby in tow. So here's the fruit right here for this black beauty. And I can see why they call it black beauty, because it is really gorgeous. It has a more of a purple sheen, not so much a black satin finish, but more like a purple sheen to it. And I think this one here is ready to be harvested. So let me go get a knife or my pruners. I'll be right back. This right here is the Midnight Queen. This one here has been the constant supplier of fruit. I mean, it's just a very vigorous, healthy fruit producer. All right, so with these potatoes, these red Pontiac potatoes, you guys can tell I went ahead and harvested 1 pail last week, and whoa, I tell you, the wildlife is so beautiful. All right, I was a little bit distracted there. So I was saying, last week I went ahead and harvested 1 pail, and I only got 3 potatoes. But let me tell you, them potatoes were massive. And I didn't think red Pontiac got that big. Now with all of these pails, I only put 1 seed potato in there. And this one over here, I believe I did probably 4 seed potatoes. So I may have more, but they'll be smaller. As like over here with these 2 big ones, I put 4 in this big one, and I'm not sure, probably 5 or 6 in this other one. All right, you can tell this tomato plant is real wonky right now. You know, all of these plants are all in a nightshade family. Potatoes, your eggplants. So they're all in harmony here. They're doing very well. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest another pail. See how that looks. You guys will be witnessing it with me. This one right here has the most dieback, so we'll go ahead and pull this one out. Feels pretty heavy. Here's the seed potato. It's totally mushed. All right. It's a decent sized one. All right, guys. So it looks like 4 is the number. 4 is the number. And another thing, they're kind of wet. So we just got that heavy rainstorm the other day. And I'm sure that when you're getting closer to harvest time, you need to hold off on the watering. So. All right, not that impressed, but hey, it's food. For shits and giggles, let's go ahead and do another one. Besides, these potatoes are taking up a lot of real estate, and I need these pails so I can start transplanting some collards, some broccoli, you know what I mean? All right, let's see what surprises we get from this one. This one has a little bit more, even though they're on the smaller side. Look at this. This one looked like a little snowman. Crazy, right? So we got some cute little taters. It's still a meal. They're still edible. One itty bitty one left. All right, guys, I think that's it. Oh, one little straggler. Don't leave him behind. Up, up. Dropping all my taters. I guess the seed potato probably disintegrated. Yep, sure did. All right, so this is all gonna go into another bed somewhere because it's still pretty good soil. These potatoes didn't experience any diseases or anything like that, so this soil should still be pretty good. I'll just refresh it with some compost and a little bit of biotone fertilizer, and we'll go ahead and plant up something else. This can go in the compost. All right, let's take these to the compost bin real quick. A lot of maintenance needs to be done. Cut back all of these Achillea yarrows. Cut them back, cut them back. Prune, prune, prune. Check out this cut leaf coneflower right here. Super tall, right? Way past 6 feet. A lot of weeds. Hibiscus is blooming. Say cheese. All right, we'll come back to this bed in a second. Hydrangea's giving us something. All right. Little phlox blooming over there. There goes the bluebird bed. Lots of fallen leaves. Hey guys, we've been getting a lot of fallen leaves lately because of, we've had a drought. We've had a drought in this region, the mid-Atlantic, I'd say for the past 2 months. All right, this compost bin needs some serious work. I mean, I've got a bunch of tomatoes growing in there, as always happens in your compost bin. I gotta tell you, ever since the cicadas paid us a visit, and you can see all where the nymphs came out of the ground. These are the little tunnels that the cicada nymphs burrowed out of the ground. Pretty nasty, right? Pretty nasty. All right, but we'll get to this later. Go ahead and put that in the compost. Woo. It's a part of the garden that is still under construction, guys. So naturally, I don't show it as much. Of course, I got my hydrangeas in the back, Japanese maple, a couple dogwood, and a bunch of hosta. Yep, needs lots of work. So I'll be sure to put some videos up with me going crazy in these beds. There's this other big bed over here. It's got a hydrangea quercifolia hedge. I think that variety is called Jetstream. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And up against the fence is another Annabelle. Guess we could kind of walk through it. I got this ground cover. It's variegated. It's called Lamium. And I'm really hoping it takes over. All right. Little ferns going. It just needs a little work, guys. That Annabelle, I need to give her some compost and probably a little feed. There's a Rosa Sharon. This Rosa Sharon right here was winter sown. It's doing pretty good. It's probably 2 feet now. All right, so we're about to come back here and hit up this veggie bed. There's Lady Limelight back there. Probably getting a little too much sun. But she needs some water, you can tell. All right, fam. Here goes my little harvest. A few tomatoes, a couple of potatoes, red pontiac, and 2 different varieties of eggplant. One's Midnight Queen up top, and the other one is Black Beauty. Alright, so I'm applying a little bit of this Happy Frog, and then I'll follow up with a little watering in. I tell you, this area over here smells heavenly. Why? Because you see all those white carpet roses over here? Don't worry about that weed right there. All of that is producing a wonderful fragrance. Then I got this Russian sage right here. When you rub up against it, the oils come through. It just smells so heavenly. All right, so this bed has been fully fertilized. I'm gonna go ahead and water it in. All right, guys, now if I didn't have this insect damage, I wouldn't have hesitated to come through here and thin out these seedlings. But I'm gonna have to give them another 4 or 5 days to kind of beef up before I go ahead and transplant them into another container and leave the selected amount in this bed. So I don't want to take that chance just yet. It's too hot. Maybe if it was a springtime, I wouldn't have mind removing these seedlings and transplanting them. All right, some of these pepper plants, they need a little bit of support here. So we got some of this plant tape. Oh yeah. So these are jalapeno hot peppers. It's already popping out a lot of fruit. Look at that. Beautiful fruit. All right, let's do some business on this sun tomato. Check out these flowers on this Black Beauty. You know we about to get some fruit. Look at that. Whoa, look what we have here. Now I just made that expression just for the YouTube, but I was well aware of some of these leaves being eaten, and I think I see a culprit. He's very slick. Look at it. Every time I move, you see it? Every time I move the branch of the sweet potato, it goes under it. Look at that. Y'all probably see it.